dude.
So...
You are not lying.
Let's see if we can get another strike.
You're not lying.
That's usually true.
You're right. It usually is true. No, I say that as a transitory phrase, not as a... But, holy fuck. Like, you're right. You're right. All the complexities of Premiere holds your hand.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you started the stream
already. Oh, yeah, I started the stream. Give everybody a minute to get in there. I see His Majesty, the Sergeant Major, has drawn first blood. Brady, old man. Oh.
Yeah, Premiere holds your hand compared to After Effects. Also, dude, it took it like a half an hour of rendering just to give me an estimate how long it would take it to render.
Yeah. And the estimate was like 12 hours or something.
Oh. No, dude, there's still like 20-something hours left, it says.
Are you rendering in Premiere? Are you rendering in After Effects?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't render in Adobe products, except for media.
Well, I hit Control M and followed the same procedure.
Is it U or export?
I just hit export. It's almost midnight and I'm about to start the render. But it sat there and waited. Of course, it's better than it was. It originally estimated the render was going to take something like 50 hours. And then I sat and watched it probably, I don't know. It finally came down to like 39. Whatever.
Yeah, always send your renders out to media input because the computer. So what's happening when you have Premiere open rendering out of Premiere or After Effects is everything that those programs do that takes up memory is still happening. It's slowing down. And After Effects is doing it.
Okay. So just doing a straight export from Premiere on a very simple video doesn't take up as much.
Yeah, Premiere can shit clips all day. But even that, if you're doing a lot of clips at one time, go to the exporter. Because for one, you can mass manipulate it. Like you can change all the titles at one time. So that they all have the same title with a number. Stuff like that.
Well, either way, the video is
Don't hit the regular when we're gonna do the Firearms Friday intro.
Oh, okay. Chat's pointing out that we already F-bombed. Whoops.
Yeah, but Steve, surely they won't count our F-bombs from before the show actually started. Right? Well, since we already broke the new rule since we already broke the F-bomb barrier in the in the beginning there. And, Sergeant Major drew first blood and it's Firearms Friday. I'd like to open this morning with, who's fucking motivated? Who's fucking motivated? Who's fucking motivated? Who's fucking motivated?
There was any doubt.
And now we can go run 5 miles. Guaranteed. Good morning. How you doing, Sunshine?
I'm motivated?
Yes, you are. And that is because it is Firearms Friday.
Yes, indeed.
So, I am going to try something real quick, and it might go badly. It worked! Yay! So, I can fix the display thing before we get there. In theory. No, it's not working the way I want it to. Okay, so it's Firearms Friday. We've got some DGUs, and we may or may not get to them because we're about to talk about something. Last night on Timcast IRL, which frankly I was watching the live Timcast, waiting for Polytech to go live, so because I especially wanted to watch and chit chat with Alex and Danny about some of the January 6th stuff and hear their takes. And about 10 minutes to 9, like basically right before Alex hit the button to go live, well, this happened, and there's gonna be a short transitional thing here, but I'm gonna show you the clip. And when I say clip, what I mean is I'm just gonna play it from the save spot in the live stream. So watch carefully. Luke Rudkowski is talking about Biden being manipulated by puppet masters and literal strings and the like. I'll move the headphones over so you can hear what he's saying.
Between the 1300s Black Death and the 1918 Spanish flu, there were 57 pandemics.
Okay.
Did you see it?
No, Tim walk across the camera?
No, that's not Tim.
Oh,
that's
sorry.
not Tim. That...
All right, let's do it again.
To add, I think this concept of civil unrest, of a civil war, it's not a crazy one. Newsweek had a very important article today, and they were talking about how civil...
Wow, okay, I didn't back up enough. Okay.
We backed up too much.
Unrest historically is the norm after pandemics, and they talked to two political scientists, and they said between the 1300s Black Death and the 1918 Spanish flu, there were 57 pandemics.
Whoa!
Yeah, you see that? You see that? That, my friend, was a shiny bar on a collar.
Oh my!
So they were live. And they were live, by the way, with Brandon Tatum, which, and I mean, this is a perfect shot. There's Brandon Tatum, and you got his book right there, Beaten Black and Blue, Being a Black Cop in an America Under Siege, by the Brandon Tatum. Brandon Tatum does a pretty excellent show. He's very high energy. Black cop in cop-hating America, where the left and especially the black left hate the police. Tatum was very vocal about the Breonna Taylor hoax. So this guy right here, I mean, you couldn't ask for a more perfect guest to have if you're going to get swatted, and that's what happened.
Wasn't he part of Arizona SWAT team?
Yes.
Okay.
They've
right.
literally got a SWAT officer in the room with them when they got swatted.
Man, I guess the only thing better would be having like Johnny Cochran sitting next to you if you get accused of murder.
So, I am going to go out on a limb here and say that this was an abuse of police power. And I know Alex is going to give me some pushback, and I'm going to support that claim. So, first, I'm going to explain to you what swatting means, just in case, I know I've got some older people out there. There is more to the video, Alex. You can go and, if you just go and watch the Brandon Tatum episode from last night, starting at about the 48, 49 minute mark. They discuss what happens. Tim actually gets up and walks out of the studio to go deal with the police. And they talk about the building a bit because the police are just kind of wandering around the building when Tim gets up to go out and talk to him. And he points out, Tim does, it's a 10,000 square foot, basically, it's a 10,000 square foot house that's been converted into an office building with a couple of studios, some office space, recording studios, et cetera, et cetera. He says the place is basically a maze. If you don't know your way, guests get lost. The speaker guests get lost in the cast castle often, apparently.
Well, yeah, 10,000 square feet.
Tim comes and outside of the cast castle, he said that at every entrance to the building, there's a welcome mat that says "Come back with a warrant." And
wow,
I ain't gonna lie. As soon as he said that, I almost went on Amazon and bought 4.
I think I want one of those.
But yeah, I'm gonna put that next to my metal sign that says "We don't call 911. We carry 1911s." We don't. I like the 1911, but it's not my EDC. Anyway, so no donuts today. Old people are wide awake. Well, I'm glad you're awake, old man. Keep paying attention because this is hilarious. So, Alex asks, it's intimidation, maybe? Trying to quiet him or related to this Murphy nonsense. There has been some rampant speculation that this is related to the Murphy situation, to the Jack Murphy situation. I doubt that. I haven't seen any evidence to that effect. And despite everything, the fact is that Jack Murphy and Tim Pool are buds. I'm sure Poole is concerned and maybe even a little disappointed in Jack, but I strongly doubt that this was Jack Murphy. Much more likely this was some BLM activist, Antifa activist, or just, a random Democrat voter. However, given all of the other shenanigans that we've seen of late, it wouldn't surprise me at all if it was just a straight up Democrat politician or DNC staffer. That if I was to see evidence supporting that theory, it wouldn't surprise me in the least. But again, right now, this happened less than 12 hours ago, so information is scant. That said, there is a lot of conversation happening on the Twitters. For example, Elijah Schaefer tweeted out this image. This is from the Cast Castle, one of the Cast Castle security cameras outside of Tim Pool's studio. And they're saying that this is the security cam footage of the person who allegedly, swatted Tim Pool. Please help ID. A bunch of people retweeting the clip that I just showed you. St. Michael says it was Sam Hyde. Yes.
Yeah, so, okay. Swatted live on TV. Okay, just to kind of go back. Alex says, is this related to the Jack Murphy nonsense? Before certain information came out yesterday, I'd have said no. But somehow it got even worse for Jack Murphy. It now looks like maybe, possibly, he set himself up to kind of sort of scam a DC school, charter school, out of like $1 million.
I don't know enough about that story to go into it here, but
allegedly, said it appears.
Yeah, and somebody wrote a book making that allegation pretty substantially. But I want to focus on the swatting. So what swatting is when somebody makes a false police call with a serious allegation to specifically with the intent of getting the SWAT team involved. And it started off as the first several incidents of swatting where he kind of coined the term people playing games like Call of Duty and the like would SWAT live streamers. And you'd have the SWAT team come busting in your room while you're sitting in your comfy gaming chair playing a video game, and
about
all
to
of a
win
sudden,
the Halo tournament, and then nope.
Right. And then all of a sudden a SWAT team comes in, guns drawn, and puts you on your face. Now, in this one, we see the clip. The police do enter the room, but they enter calmly. Tim stays calm. He's aggravated. And there's Alex. Exactly. Gamer pranks until someone got killed. There have been several people killed in swatting incidents. And Tatum goes on to explain that, okay, look, they entered without a warrant, but there's the exigent circumstances. We should all be very concerned about the exigent circumstances, and I'm not going to say that there are not exigent circumstances under which it is reasonable within the bounds of the Constitution for the authority to enter private property without a warrant. But those exigent circumstances need to be extreme. In this case, apparently 2 officers entered to the building. Now, they're saying from the security footage that it looks like there were at least 8 cop cars that showed up at the spot, but only 2 officers went in the building, and they're not walking around apparently guns drawn. That tells me something. When they said exigent circumstances, because they were stopped at the door as they tried to come in, and one of Tim's staffers stopped him and was like, no, you can't come in without a warrant. And they said exigent circumstances and forced their way in. They lied. Those officers committed a crime right there. And here's why I believe that. Because they did not enter, they're not walking around the studio weapons drawn, which means they do not actually believe that there are legitimate exigent circumstances. They're making a claim. Apparently the 911 call that was, or the tipster call, the call that got the SWAT team out there claimed that there were 2 dead bodies and the shooter was holding hostages in the building. So if the police believed that to be a credible call, there's no way in hell they send 2 low-ready officers in there without their weapons drawn to just check it out. That's not how this works. Which means that they used the exigent circumstances claim in bad faith. So the 2 officers, I'm going to say this. The 2 officers that entered the building, they should face charges. Because that's an absolute abuse of their authority.
Well, I don't quite get into the First Amendment audit as heavily as you do, but I've watched enough of them with you and have kind of learned by osmosis, just sucking all that up. Man, when a cop is on a mission,
he will lie, cheat, steal, and murder you.
Well, it's that whole justification thing. It's a thing that all human beings do. When we've decided, when we're committed, we will justify even the most virtuous among us. Once we've made up our mind to do a thing, we will justify that decision with some pretty twisted pretzel logic, if needs be, in order to get from point A to point B with whatever we've decided we're going to do. And when you're talking about cops, and talking about people who've basically been empowered by the state to be the agent that could potentially violate all of your civil liberties, and we've all just decided as part of the lie that we're a civilized species, we're going to empower the state with the monopoly on violence and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So when
basically, if a cop ever murders you, unless you're somebody like George Floyd, you paid him to do it.
And I actually like the way Alex from Polytech puts it. When a cop is on a mission, no matter how little information they have, a nail is a nail. That's right. And the cop is the hammer. Man, I was spoiled having Papa Sheepdog as an officer. It really never occurred to me that that maybe, possibly the majority of cops were not like my father, who actually endeavored to see the gray area in situations and understand, okay, if I arrest this person, I might screw them over for life by doing it. So I better be damn sure that that's the thing that I want to do, arresting this person. And apparently that was one thing he used to even stress to his troops once he got some command authority. Is be like, you might be the only point of contact these people ever have in their shithole life. And arresting them could make it worse. Is it really worth sending somebody to jail for a year to turn them into a lifelong criminal? And it's like, wow, that's a hell of a thing to think about. And the other thing about swatting is, like, the Tim Pool compound, if rumors are to be believed, the weapons in the compound outnumber the people like 10-1.
Oh, yeah.
This could have went real bad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean...
And hold on. It's not rumors. It's not that if rumors are to be believed. Go watch some Cast Castle videos, right? Tim's got the Cast Castle. They have the guests come out. When somebody goes on Tim Pool and does the live podcast in the afternoon, they go out and basically hang out all day or for a couple of days, and they hang out, drink some cocktails, eat some pickles, watch the chickens, and go to the range. And Pool does stuff like breaks out his 50 BMG, his frickin' Barrett 9, his Barrett Snowwolf, the 50 millimeter.
Ow!
It's a sniper rifle that shoots these. Basically, it's an anti-material rifle, and like, I even saw him in a debate with somebody, and he was like, "Well, I have my 22 for varmints, squirrels and stuff. I have this gun for bears. I have this gun for daily carry for self-defense, and well, don't you have a 50 caliber rifle? What's that for? Fuck, I don't know, tanks, because I can, and
well, that's like that old thing. It'd be like, why do you need 30 rounds in your AR-15? I don't know.
Because I can fit them there?
Yeah, because it's none of your damn business.
Exactly.
Because you never know. Ask Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
Just as a point. And, for real though, like the swatting behavior, it's shocking to me that this has not led to like some awful like Ruby Ridge situation, only a whole bunch of cops get killed.
Right.
Instead of, and the other part of it too, like Alex points out, even if that nail is a 5-year-old eating pizza, Alex is referring to the cops being called on a kid at a pizza stand. Yeah, that's right. Well, I was going to say the People's Republic of New York, but whatever.
The Democratic People's Republic of New York.
Oh, that's right. That's right. The Democratic
Because it's tyranny you voted for.
That's correct.
Stupid shits.
And so they come in and I mean, and it, like, if you look at the video, there's like at least a half a dozen cops. When I saw the video that were there, all over a 5-year-old. I thought maybe 6, but whatever. We're talking about a little kid, effectively an elementary school student, eating pizza with his family. Is being told you must show your vaccine passport or we're going to kick you out of the restaurant. And then eventually the police start saying things like, essentially, y'all can all shut the fuck up and get the fuck out or we'll start arresting people for trespass.
Right.
And it's like, whoa,
just
homeboy.
real quick, Husky, Steve's right, they do get heavy, but in fact, you can get 100 rounds in a magazine. Yes, Lord.
I mean, if you know some... If you understand some basics about mechanical engineering and welding, you could have 1,000-round magazine. You just got to stick some bullets somewhere.
Yeah, but let me tell you something from experience. I've gone walking around in the desert with 400 of these on my shoulder. These weigh a pound apiece almost. Not quite. But close to it. Boston Strong, we just don't talk video games on this channel. I know you're watching from Twitch. Twitch is a video game thing. But maybe just for you, the next time I'm playing Cyberpunk 2077, I'll just go live and drop F-bombs all over the place. We'll see what happens. I did just raid the Arasaka compound this morning, though. That was pretty good.
You know, and that points out an interesting thing, and dear God, YouTube censor bots, understand this is a point with nuance. I'm not endorsing violence, okay? But what if...
Never.
Look, no, seriously. You'll find this interesting and will want to participate in this discussion. What if whoever was standing there at the door for Tim Pool had blown away that cop that walked into that house illegally?
Oh yeah, it would have been a shootout. And here's how it would have ended. They would have kept sending police officers.
That's why I fought the law and the law won.
They would have continued to send police officers until they ran out, and then had to send the National Guard until they ran out, and then had to send somebody else, assuming Tim and his crew's best luck case scenario, until eventually they burn the house down or everybody in it is dead. Whichever came first, and it's probably both.
Oh yeah, ask David Chipman.
And
he knows
if there
all
were
about
any
that.
survivors, if they managed to capture anybody alive, they would charge that person with a myriad of crimes. The newspaper narrative would be all about this violent MAGA cult, and the officers would be treated as if they did nothing wrong. And the fact of the matter is, they committed an egregious violation of the Fourth Amendment.
You know, and speaking of violations of rights, we're all tracking on the fact that, like, Australia's moving into some super spooky territory.
Oh yeah, arresting people and putting them in literal concentration camps?
For their own good. And, like, no, I'm not exaggerating. If you're not tracking on this, Google it. I swear they're doing it for their own good, because they don't want to get the gold-plated jab.
Right.
See?
Well, and the government over there is saying things like, look, we're not saying that you have to stay in your house. We're just saying that you're not allowed to go to the grocery store or the hospital or the this or the there. Like, I'm going to get hungry. And let's be real. It's going to happen soon. We're not talking about in a day or two. I'm going to be hungry in about now. And I'm going to want to go get a bite to eat. And God help you for trying to slow me down. I'm going to go get my bite to eat. And let's be real. There's me and my bite to eat. And my bite to eat might be anything between me and that bite to eat.
Yeah. You know, for the longest time in our internal discussion, there have been some of our friends who are somewhat black-pilled and have even voted for accelerationism, and I've always been the one to argue against that, to say that it's a terrible idea. And, you know, it's real easy to say, oh, yeah, we need to start fighting back and we need to start burning things down and whatever. But shit like this, like, it moves my needle, okay? The fact that, like, literally, so, like, there's a door over here, okay, that leads out the room we're in, okay? And a cop could come walking through it, and there just wouldn't be a whole lot that... Cannibalism is back. That's hysterical. I think that's top comment right there. Oh, Keck level is over 9,000. Okay.
It's over 9,000.
But shit like that moves my needle. Like, it really does. And I say this, like, my dad was a cop. I don't want to see cops get hurt or shot or killed. It was a thing that I used to worry about, that, like, one day I'd get the call, like, oh, your dad is at Grady, in ICU, like, fighting for his life, okay? But at the same time, man, and I want to be really careful with this, but it would seem as though we have not had enough incidents lately where bad things have happened where cops make a certain type of mistake. All right. Kim Potter goes to jail for manslaughter, probably going to do about a decade. And Derek Chauvin goes to jail for murder, probably going to do about 3 decades, maybe 2, because, but I mean, and look, and we've been very clear on that. So
because they made the mistake of shooting liberal-friendly.
Well, because they made the mistake of people who were
criminals.
They encountered somebody who was resisting arrest.
Yeah, on the other side of this whole cops are bad thing, let's not forget, all your martyrs are monsters.
But at the same time, you reach a certain point where, man, like, you're just going to walk up in Tim Pool's compound. Like, okay, so 8 cop cars roll up. Let's assume 2 cops per car. All right?
Yeah.
16 cops. Not a one of them has watched Tim Pool. Not a one of them pulled the other cops aside
and said,
hold on, guys, hold on. All right? It looks like we're going to Tim Pool's house. So let's make a couple of things clear before we get there.
Yeah. All 8 of our cars being disabled by an anti-material rifle from the roof on approach is not outside the realm of probabilities.
Well, not even outside the realm of probabilities, but if you love Tim Pool, you hate Tim Pool, whatever, dude's probably not like the murderous, I've got dead bodies on my property type. Like, he's just not. So it's not just the what could happen, the fact that the place was armed. It's the fact that any amount of common sense and exposure to Tim Pool's brand should have said, yeah, no, one random phone call having a bunch of cops come walking through your door is not good enough. It's the thing where we talk about the no-knock warrant, okay? I'm still really, kind of fuzzy on that one because, like, Breonna Taylor's a good example of this. The house where they didn't knock, nobody got killed.
Right.
The house where they did knock is the one where Breonna Taylor got killed. And, man, that's tough. Everything about this is spooky and creepy. And I don't want to say that I want something bad to happen to a cop that, like, sticks his nose in a place where it doesn't belong. But at the same time, it might not be the absolute worst thing that ever happened in our society if something bad happens to a cop. And look, I hate that communist argument where to make an omelet, you got to break a couple of individual eggs. I really do. But at the same time, like, oh, it's exigent circumstances. What? Tim Pool murdered somebody while he was live on air? Like, you could literally have just hopped onto his YouTube feed. He had a cop in the studio with him.
And at the time that this happened, he had been live on air for about an hour. Alex is asking, is it Tim Pool's house or does he rent space in the building? No, Tim Pool owns the, or I'm sure it's probably something like Timcast LLC or something, but Tim Pool owns the building, and he actually talked about that a bit in the clip afterward. It's basically, it is a house, but basically what they've done is they've taken a 5-story, 10,000 square foot residential home in West Virginia and converted a lot of it into essentially office space. So he's got the two different live casting studios, the kitchens, and the facilities for the staff. But it is his private property. It's a residential building.
Steve says perspective is important here. While a couple million people know who Tim Pool is, he is not a household name in the majority of circles, really. That's a fair point, Steve. But again, I'm gonna lean on the experience with Papa Sheepdog. cops have got a lot of hurry up and wait. When they're busy as shit.
Well, and it's not just that. We're talking about the police in the area. We're talking about the police in the town where he is.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
But when they're not busy, they are slow as hell. And I promise, they're watching YouTube and Netflix. Okay? That's what they're doing in their downtime. And you pull a bunch of random normies off the street, you pull 100 normies off the street, it's possible that all 100 of those normies have no idea who Tim Pool is. But you're not gonna, I'm sorry, you are not gonna show me any cross-section of police officers once you say, have like 15 or 20 in any one concentrated spot that have no clue who Tim Pool is. And then as you point out, these, by definition, are local cops.
Right.
Who they're more likely to know who Tim Pool is.
Oh, guaranteed they've had briefings on who Tim Pool is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so...
He is what the... Especially for... Because he's in kind of the country part of West Virginia. So...
Is there any other part?
Not only would he be an HVI, a high-value individual, high-value target of interest... in any place that he was running an operation like that. I mean, he's running a successful, large broadcasting business that occupies an enormous amount of physical territory in the surrounding area. So, there's no way that he wouldn't be on the high-value target brief for any local authority, let alone one where he's basically the HVT locally. Now, if they're pretty close to Maryland and DC as well, so those briefs are, he might get a little diluted out of those briefs, but he's in them. They know who he is, and they knew going up to that building. They knew where they were, who they were about to encounter. Absolutely.
Yeah. We didn't get to any DGUs, did we?
We did not, and it is the end of it is the top of the hour.
Dude, so...
And I don't even know if I have any contracts this morning.
Okay, but for real...
check that real quick.
But you can check that in a minute when we go off the air.
No, there's a chance that I don't have to go off the air right now.
Well, I was just going to say... what if we got swatted? And I don't mean that, like, just, my dick is so big, what if we got swatted? No, I mean, like, literally... Sitting here now, we've even joked before, like we have the old sounder about, like...
Yeah, where they kick in the door.
Where they kick in the door.
Yeah, the technical difficulties and all that stuff.
But, dude,
that one?
Like, what if? That is some spooky shit.
And, I'm going to try to handle it as peacefully as possible. At first.
See, and that's the problem, though, isn't it?
Right.
Like, anyhow.
Mal, it's not that we don't have any DGUs to go through. It's that, but I am going to let the show run over a little bit, and I didn't even tell Cameron about this one, so I'm gonna play. I'm just gonna pull the article. We might watch a little bit of the video, but my mom sent us something. Damn, where'd it go? There it is. So this will be our one DGU today, and it's a pretty good one. Armed Lyft driver shoots 2 carjackers in Philly. A legally armed Lyft driver shot and critically injured 2 suspects who carjacked him in Philadelphia, police said. And I'll be interested to see some follow-up on this because officially the Lyft company policy forbids drivers to be armed, which, by the way, is a good reason not to use Lyft or Uber.
Oh, dude, I just ignored that policy and carried my...
Well, yeah, I mean, I drove for Lyft and Uber for a little while I was back in college, and I absolutely 100% always had at least one gun in easy reach, sometimes 2. The ordeal began Monday shortly after 2:45 p.m. A 38-year-old Lyft driver was driving his 2011 Infiniti on the 1100 block. Ooh, he's going to have to buy a new car soon.
Yep.
Can't be more than 10 years old. The Lyft driver got out of his car and was when he was rear-ended by a Honda Accord. The Lyft driver got out of his car and was approached by a man armed with a shotgun. The gunman then went inside the Infiniti, police said. The Lyft driver, who has a valid permit to carry, then pulled out his own gun and fired at the man. A second suspect who was inside the Honda Accord then attempted to run the Lyft driver over, according to investigators. The Lyft driver then fired at the second suspect. The suspects then fled in both vehicles. The suspect, who was armed with the shotgun, was later found inside the Infiniti on the 4200 block of Parkside Avenue. He was suffering from a gunshot wound to the chest and was taken to Penn Presbyterian Medical Center, where he is currently in critical condition.
Dude, how bad are you at criminal and guns, where you have the drop on somebody with a shotgun? And they still they shoot you. That's kind of like the I win, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I have you covered with some 00 buck, you ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, rule number 1 of pointing guns at people is it's a bad idea to have people around who remember you pointing guns at them. Do with that what you will. He was suffering from a gunshot wound to the right side of his rib cage. He was also taken to Penn Presbyterian in critical condition. Police arrested both suspects and recovered the weapons and vehicles. The Lyft driver was not injured during the incident. Not injured. Awesome.
This is why I think we need more categories, because normally we'd score this as a BRM. But, I mean, 2 targets, one in his vehicle, one in a Honda Accord, both of them armed, and he managed to tag both of them center mass. That's,
yeah.
Not only is that good shooting, but, like, dude, I don't mind admitting, if that had happened to me, I might need to change my pants afterwards. Like, holy shit, I can't believe, yeah.
And Steve, right, absolutely worth getting fired.
Well, you do reach a certain point where you have to ask yourself, would I rather be carried by 6 or judged by 12?
Yeah, that's easy. I'm too heavy to be carried by 6 people.
Depends on the 6 people. It could be 6 yous.
I don't want to tote my fat ass anywhere.
Oh my, out of coffee. That
me too.
Just got sad.
It did. So
So
that last cold little drop, you know what that means.
Safety brief?
Safety brief. It is the weekend. It's Friday. We're going into the weekend. This weekend is... There's nothing special this weekend, is there?
There is, if you violate some of the tenets of the safety brief.
Yes, there is.
It could be a very special weekend.
Don't drive, drink. Don't fry bacon naked. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, firearms, videotape, and a whole bunch of other bad ideas. Just no 2 at the same time.
Yeah, but dude,
especially videotape and any bad idea, right? Don't live stream. Do not go live on Facebook or YouTube while you are transporting criminal aliens across the border. For example, and Steve says, keep calm and carry one. He is correct. Keep calm and carry one. Okay, so quick anecdote. Carry one. I have the kind of a job where, one of my contracts, shooting property, I'm just constantly walking up to houses I've never been to, meeting people I've never met before. And if you have a young lady in your life, a girlfriend, a fiance, a wife, a daughter, right? Mid-20s maybe, early 20s, whatever, young lady with a door-to-door sales type of job, get her a gun. Do it now. Right? She's going around selling life insurance, health insurance, especially if she's selling that Obamacare. Because them the people she's going to meet. You're out meeting people you don't know. I've had a couple of hiccups doing the doing the real estate stuff where I show up. I had one where there was a squatter. Somebody had kicked in the door. So, I put my hand on my hip, set my camera down on the porch, shoved the door open carefully, announced myself loudly, and maintained cover. I know how to clear a building. So I've actually cleared 3 houses before then going outside and bringing my camera in. Yesterday, I was on the other side of that for just a moment. I was shooting a house in a rough-looking neighborhood. And because I don't want my vehicle, mostly for aesthetic reasons, to end up in the picture. Like if I'm shooting the front living room and there's a big window, I don't want you to see my truck across the street through the window. I want you to see the view from the window. So I parked down the street, which means that yesterday I'm walking around inside this house with my camera when the agent pulls up in, like I said, rough neighborhood. And let's be real, I'm a scary looking dude. You don't know what you're walking into, and what you're walking into is this guy in the house that you expected to be vacant. Nobody got hurt. We had us a moment. He was a gentleman. And he looked at me with wide eyes, and I went, "I'm the photographer." "Oh, thank God."
Oh, okay.
That's.
I just read between the lines.
We had that moment yesterday. And it was a very brief conversation, and he went to the next house that he was going to. He was the agent. And I finished shooting the house and moved on to shot my next house. But that could have gone differently.
Okay.
And that's, that would be the kind of thing where, let's say that had escalated and gone badly. There's still time to use your words and try to get it back under control before anybody gets hurt. Hey, whoa, type of stuff. Make careful to...
That's why language is important.
Target discretion is important.
Both are important.
Target discrimination is incredibly important.
Verbal discretion allows you to avoid the need for target discretion.
Sometimes, yes. So, I'm going to put a pin in it there. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Y'all be safe, and we will see you Monday. Or maybe sooner.
The meme war continues.
It do. Good?
Good.
Bye, guys.